Very pleased to be joined on the broadcast this afternoon as we stay with the live pictures from the Vatican. We have Cardinal Oswald Gracias joining us live from Mumbai. Thank you, Cardinal, for joining us on the broadcast. Good afternoon to you. And there is no agenda for the meeting. It's expected to be a 30-minute meeting. It's a significant one. What do you expect the two will discuss, Cardinal?
Yeah, I'm sure the two of them have got a lot of commonalities. Both of them are very interested in peace in the world, in preventing war. Both of them are very interested in working for the poor, the marginalized. The Pope has taken a very strong stand, and even now he sent a message to Glasgow for COP26. He's very strong on climate change. Our Prime Minister is also very strong. They've got a lot of commonalities. So I think they will certainly discuss and share their ideas about progress in the world, peace in the world, and then they will see how they can collaborate. Therefore, I think it's extremely a very valuable visit. Yesterday, the Holy Father met President Biden. This is a follow-up, I think, of that meeting.
Couldn't have had a bigger voice than you, Cardinal, on the broadcast. Those are live pictures on your screen. Cardinal Oswald Gracias on the broadcast with us as well, the Archbishop of Mumbai. Those are live pictures to all our viewers joining us on the broadcast. Those are live pictures coming in from the Vatican City. The Prime Minister Modi being received at the Vatican. It will be a 30-minute meeting. He arrived here a few minutes ago, and these are live pictures on Republic as we keep a close track on the Prime Minister's visit to Italy. From Rome, he will move to Glasgow. That's later today. And tomorrow early, he will be in Glasgow. These are live pictures as the Prime Minister is received at the Vatican by a delegation. That's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, also at the Vatican with the Prime Minister. Unsure whether they will be a part of this meeting, but they are a part of the Indian delegation at the Vatican City as we speak. It's going to be a one-on-one meeting with Pope Francis today at the Vatican. This is ahead of the delegation level talks, which are expected to discuss a range of issues. Of course, between the Prime Minister and the Pope, there is absolutely no agenda for the talks. It is a tradition not to have any agenda when the head of a state meets the Pope. And these are live pictures coming in of the Prime Minister being received at the Vatican. Over these pictures, I'd like to go across to Cardinal Oswald Gracias. And Cardinal, I wanted to get your view. You work closely with the Vatican and you're associated with the Vatican as well. What do you expect the two leaders to speak? You were telling us about the commonalities between the two and what could come of this meeting, of such a meeting.
From our own office here. But I'm sure they'll begin to understand. And I expect really that the fruit of this meeting will be when the Prime Minister comes back, and then we can see how we can take ahead. The Catholic Church has always collaborated much with the government on social work, education, medical work. And I think for the Prime Minister to meet at first hand the Vatican, the Pope himself, and for the Holy Father, he's very, very interested in India. He has often asked me about India, spoken about India. He's never been to India, but and so I'm sure now he also at first hand will know some of the problems that we have. So I think it will result in greater understanding, first of all, every communication, greater collaboration. I think it will be good for the Catholic Church, Catholics. It will be good for India, and it will be good for the Prime Minister himself also, because the Holy Father meets so many world leaders. He's met with Biden yesterday, and so all those perspectives the Holy Father brings when he shares. I expect a very productive meeting. There is no agenda, but there'll be a sharing of what the Prime Minister has done. The sharing of coronavirus vaccines, for example, that's I think that will warm the Holy Father's heart when he knows that. And when I go to Rome next, I too will share with him of all the good that is being done.
Yes. And you know, a huge Catholic population in India, a very significant and you know, play a critical role, you know, in our education system and across the country, and an integral part of our society. What do you think the two will discuss at a societal level? Especially, you know, you look at the recent past, Cardinal, the fight against COVID-19. India has led this battle, and we've seen and we've shown, displayed the leadership on that front. What do you think the two will discuss on society, on the larger battle against the pandemic?
I think this is a very creditable thing.
Yeah.
Against the pandemic. But there are a couple of things. First of all, the necessity for us all to work together. The Holy Father, the Pope, has been repeatedly giving calls to the whole world, and all the Catholics and also all people of goodwill. Says, please understand that we are all in the same boat. We are all, so don't make differences between rich countries and poor countries. Make vaccines available. Now, our Prime Minister has taken the lead in making vaccines available to some of the smaller countries. So India really has been a premier country for as far as vaccination is concerned. And for a very big population like ours, to have a large percentage already being vaccinated at least once, I think very creditable. But we can't slacken. I mean, it's a challenge to our government, our civil servants, to continue this progress. I think it's much easier in an urban setting like Mumbai, but in the rural areas, it's tremendous amount of logistic preparation, strategic preparation, and so we can't slacken. And I think the two of them will discuss about this too, the sharing of vaccines. Then also, another very important thing is how do we come out of the pandemic? We've got to start planning to come back to normal, and what are the advantages? We've sensed a sense of solidarity which has come out, a sense of common humanity which people have. No one has asked what state you belong to, what language you speak, what religion you. Everybody's been helping everybody else in this pandemic. Now that we can't lose, this tremendous amount of unity and harmony we found in the country. Now all this, there are always hiccups. We've got to face the hiccups, but we've got to look at the broader picture, and we've got to work together. I mean, that's why I think it's coming in God's time. This is the right time for the Prime Minister to meet the Holy Father and to work together.
Yeah. Also, you know, while I stay with these pictures, I also have my colleague Abhishek Kapoor joining us on the broadcast, so I'll bring him in as well. I had a question for you, sure. Cardinal. The other significant aspect is the close ties that India has, you know, always maintained with the Vatican, right? Historically, the relationship with the Vatican has been strong. The Indian Church and the Vatican, and you've been a part of it, and for decades, and you've seen the close ties, and when a leader like Modi, and he's respected around the world, seen as one of the, you know, leading global leaders in today's age, reaching out, you know, to the head of an institution. How significant is it when you look at the stature of these two leaders meet? What difference can they make? Cardinal.
I think a joint appeal by them for peace, I don't expect a joint appeal straight away, but at least the significance of their meeting will show the necessity of collaboration and the utility of collaboration, that we can't work our own. The world is one, the world is small, the world has become a global village, and all of us are dependent on each other. Now, I think this is very significant, and I think the dialogue should be an ongoing dialogue. This shouldn't be a one-off meeting, which, I mean, evidently Mr. Modi and the Pope can't meet every now and then, but this should, the effects should percolate down to the grassroots, and then I would like really greater dialogue at the local level between the religions, between people of different communities, so that we really, this could be a sort of a start of a movement. Last year, I think 2 years, just before the pandemic, the Holy Father went to Abu Dhabi to build up dialogue with the Muslim countries and the Muslim religion. Now, I think something like that can begin over here too. Now, there's so much of scope, so much to work together. And I said I'm particularly delighted because I can see great commonalities between these two leaders.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that one. And in the wake of the developments in the recent past, like you mentioned, peace, world peace is one point of discussion that could happen over the table, isn't it? Given whatever is happening in our immediate neighborhood.
Exactly. That means we can't close our eyes. That's the reality. What's happening in the neighborhood. We had the scene in Afghanistan. We know what's happened. But see how we could somehow be a helpful influence, a sobering voice, saying no, let's see how to go ahead.
Yeah. Once again, I'm going full frame, Cardinal. Just be with me. I just want to talk over the pictures for a few minutes for all our viewers joining us on the broadcast. The Prime Minister is holding a one-on-one meeting with Pope Francis as we speak at the Vatican City. He arrived here about 10 minutes ago. This is just ahead of the delegation level talks, during which the Prime Minister is also expected to discuss a range of areas of interest. That is, as far as the G20 is concerned and his other diplomatic engagements. The Prime Minister is having a separate call. According to the Foreign Secretary, it's a separate call with the Pope. He will be meeting His Holiness Pope Francis on a one-on-one basis. He was received about 10 minutes ago, and this is after a certain period of time. This will also be followed up by delegation level talk. So he's also sending out a message by meeting the Pope first, showing his respect to the head of the Church worldwide, and before he gets into diplomatic business in Rome. And the Prime Minister does not have any agenda when he meets the Pope at the Vatican. Absolutely no agenda. It's a tradition that when world leaders meet the Pope, they don't have an agenda. You just sit over the table, discuss issues with His Holiness Pope Francis. And the government said they respect that. And they also mentioned that they are sure that issues will be covered, and there could be a range of areas of interest in terms of the general global perspectives and issues that are important to all of us. As someone who represents the Church, let me ask you, Cardinal Oswald Gracias, and you often travel to the Vatican. What are some of these issues that the Church and Pope Francis may want to discuss with Prime Minister Modi from the Indian perspective? What would they want to sort of convey to him, talk to him about?
I think one of the important things is, which we'll have to follow up, is the question of interreligious dialogue. Now, of late, the Holy Father has been taking a lot of initiative for this. On the 4th of October, he called a meeting of all the religious leaders. Now, India is really, our richness is the variety of religions that we have over here. And I think, again, this will get a boost, interreligious dialogue between Hindus and Muslims and Parsis and Sikhs and Buddhists and Christians. So I've just come from, on Sunday we had a meeting in Nagpur organized by Lokmat, also at the national level. I'm sure this will get a great fillip when the two of them are meeting together. This will be one of the takeaways. The second thing I think is we've got to see, we've got this national education policy where the government is making a real push to see that education available to all. How can the Church, with our many institutions, also work together with this national education policy? How can we be part of it? That's an important thing. On the medical field, we've done a lot, especially in COVID, and this I think they will review a little bit and share a bit, but that will have to be worked out at the grassroots level. Now, social work, the Church has been involved in many places, especially in the rural areas, in social work, helping for the uplift of the poor. Education, self-help groups, capacity buildings. Now, I think on this again, the Church and the state can collaborate, as they do all over the world. Now, also in India, this meeting will give a fillip to all the work which we are doing, especially for the other communities. And I think they will share this. Both are spiritual men, and I think they will find great ways to go ahead.
Yeah, and just one word I'd like to get in, from you before I bring in George into the conversation as well, is the role that Indians have played in the Church. And I say that because Indians have always been influential, and because we are, we're such a large, we have such a large population of Roman Catholics, and of those who follow Christianity. There have been several Indians who have played an eminent part. You, of course, are very, very senior, and if not the senior most in the church in India. And that also plays a significant part, isn't it? India and many Indians are very close to the church.
Yes, sort of many Indians have worked a lot in the church. We've had my own predecessors here in Mumbai, Valerian Cardinal Gracias, Padma Vibhushan here, did a great deal for also promoting the understanding of nationalism, loving our country a great deal, working for the country. We've got, I want to say with pride, that we've had many Christians, many Catholics in the civil services, in the armed forces, so really very much of a contribution. And we've been encouraging, the church has been encouraging people to get into the civil services, get into the armed forces, really helping the country to be what it, make progress, to be one of the leading countries in the world. And I think that I've often said that being a good Christian, a good Catholic, means being a good Indian. One can be a good Catholic only one works dedicatedly for the country. And I think that's really is one of the spirits that we teach in our schools, we preach in our churches, and we discuss in our meetings.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get a word from George Cardinal. George has also been waiting with us. George, you've been listening into the conversation. I think the meeting has been on.
Yes.
Yes, the meeting has been on for quite some time. What do you make of this big meeting between the Prime Minister and the Pope? It should take another 10 to 15 minutes. George?
Yes. This is a positive approach. There will be a good result from that talk. As the Governor said, it will be a prospective or a positive energy to the community of India. Because the rest of two nations are meeting each other. Pope is not only a religious church, but he is the head of the Vatican country. It is not a small state. It is powerful because globally a large number of Catholics are living. They have hold and reservoirs almost everywhere in the union.
Yeah.
So, a talk between that person and the head of India, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will be a life-giving one to the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the religious head should abstain from aggressiveness and attack, as well as the political head also should keep that in mind.
George, I have a poor audio line with you. I'll try and fix that. I'll just try and fix that once more. Meanwhile, let me get in the last word from Cardinal Oswald Gracias, the Archbishop of Bombay, joining us on the broadcast as well. One last word from you, Cardinal, if you can, tell our viewers a little bit about.
Thank you.
Yeah, the role of India in maintaining global peace and harmony. I think that will be the theme of this meeting, or that could be the big takeaway. And how big a role do you think India plays? Yeah.
I think, thank you for the question. That's a very valid question, very valuable question also. I think we Indians underestimate our importance in the world peace. We are one of the leading countries because of our population. I think also because of the progress we're making, and I think also because of the contributions so many Indians are making all over the world. You go to the United States, you've got doctors who are there. Go to England, the medical service. You go to Germany, the IT people. So Indians are really respected, and therefore, because of that, as individuals, the Indian country too is respected. I think we can play a very important role in world peace, because we are a major player in what happens in the world. People cannot take us for granted in that sense, and therefore it's good for us. It's important for us to have good leadership, really statesmen who are leading us, helping the world to really progress. India, we are with the other leading nations, United States, France, Germany, China also, and Russia. We really are major players, not only stakeholders, but players in influencing world policies now for everything. What India does impacts others, influences others, and even smaller countries. And therefore, I think we should not underestimate ourselves. We are a major player. And therefore, it's important that we have good government, good leaders, visionary leaders, and think not only of India, but of the world. That's really what we must have a global perspective. Yeah. Thank you for the question. I really appreciate that you made us reflect on this, and all of us Indians must realize this, that we are much more important than we consider ourselves.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cardinal Oswald Gracias and George. Good to have you as well on the broadcast. We'll wait for those pictures to come in. At this point, we'll take a break. Yeah.